You're listening to the Business Communicators.
Want to round out the conversation this week with the talk on advertising and influencers, and just uh how we're impacted by that. I think it's one thing when you see like brand ambassadors doing campaigns on TV, right? If it's, I don't know, it's Halloween season, let's take Kit Kats, say that, I don't know, let's think of a celebrity, say Chrissy Teigen. I don't know, we mentioned her last week. Say that she's advertising for Kit Kats. Like, you're going to feel invested. Maybe you might buy it, but I don't know, there's a slight chance. But when you follow somebody on Instagram or social media on YouTube, and they have this rabid following. So take someone like Joe Rogan. If he plugs something, he has trust built in with 10 million people that listen to his show per day. David Dobrik, we mentioned him last week. He has trust built in with his audience. And so when he suggests that they go to SeatGeek, people actually listen. And Hattie, you shared this story as well, but the UK, they are cracking down on hidden influencer ads on Instagram specifically. And I do think that's really interesting, because there should be transparency when you are advertising for a product and when you're not. Two of my favorite YouTubers, Marquez Brownlee, who does amazing tech reviews. He is the tech guy. He did an entire video on this, being very upfront about him doing, whether he does sponsored ads or whether he does product reviews, and how they're completely separate. He's very open. And so if he reviews like a Tesla or an Apple product or a Samsung device, that he's going to give you a fair and unbiased response. Peter McKinnon, another YouTube creator as well, he has a partnership with Canon, but he still reviews Canon products, and he lets people know about this beforehand, like full transparency, here's what's going on. The problem is when you have influencers peddling products that you don't know that they're associated with, or they're getting paid to plug. And I think that's maybe where the problem comes in, what the UK is trying to limit. Am I right, Hattie?
Well, yeah, to some degree. And I was just going to say, I follow some folks on YouTube. One of my favorites is a beauty influencer. Her name is Jackie Aina. Jackie Aina reviews a lot of products for Pat McGrath, Maybelline, everybody. But one of the things that she does a very good job of, she does let you know whether she personally bought it just to try it herself, or she's being a paid partner. And the UK, to me, probably hadn't started out doing a really good job of making sure that they knew who was doing that, or people weren't putting things out there. But I think that under that policy that they're going to ask them, they've got to confirm. And I think they should be transparent, that you're not just peddling, because there are some products on Instagram I'll see, and I will see there's Christina Milian is peddling a product right now. I won't say what it is, but on Instagram, and she has an ad, but she does say that, she's a partner with him. So, and she's not a very good actress to me, but she's a celebrity in her mind. And I've seen her in a few things, and I think she has gorgeous skin. So, hey, if she says it's good, yeah, maybe I will buy it. But yeah, I agree that it has been a problem, because you do have a lot of folks who've been peddling products or reviewing products and not putting it out there, being transparent that they're being paid by it. But I think that the policy should be in place.
Yeah, Thomas, I think there's a podcast that I've listened to, and I've shared it with you before, the Colin and Samir podcast. Two great content creators that live out in Los Angeles, and they had a suggestion that if you see something or hear something on the radio or TV or something like that, there's a 15 to 20% chance that you might actually, if you do go out, that you might actually buy the product or try the place. Like let's take Burger King, for example. If you, or McDonald's, McDonald's just had the Cactus Jack, the meal with Travis Scott. But if you see an ad with McDonald's, there might be a small chance that you go out and actually get it. But if you see Travis Scott sharing it on his Instagram feed, on his Facebook page, on his website, dropping lyrics into an EP, they suggested that there's a 75 to 80% chance that you actually do get up there and maybe go. So when you have, the TV ads plus, the influencer pushing the product, you're more likely than not to support that product than you would in any other situation. So I don't know, just you're the marketing guy. Tell us a little more.
I was just going to say, and this segment is brought to you by Amway. Your influencer marketing since 1959. I say it jokingly, but but reality, that's how Amway started. Before they went into the multi-level marketing side of it, it was find somebody who likes the product. Tupperware parties is another one that comes to mind. Influencer marketing is just another way around that. A couple years ago, WOMA, Word of Advertising Marketing Association, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it was bought up or swallowed into the American National Advertising Association, had guidelines for word of mouth advertising, that if you were supposed to identify, I am being paid by this product or by this company, and it came out off of I want to think a Panasonic camera, don't quote me on that one, of launching an influencer marketing campaign in New York City, where an unsuspecting tourist who was trying to get a picture would walk up to somebody else and be like, "Hey, will you take your picture? Take my picture for me with the Statue of Liberty behind me." And then during the course of the conversation, they'd be like, "Do you like this camera? What about this feature? And what about that feature?" So they were advertising in person, one-on-one. With your example about the McDonald's, is you have to be multi-touch. We have to be able to communicate with our consumers in the time, in the area, in the mediums that they want to be communicated with. So companies need to focus on complete multi-channel, omni-channel marketing efforts, to where your PR matches your television ad, matches your newspaper, matches your influencer marketing. I'm not saying it has to be the same, but it has to have the same similar look and feel as you go through it, the same kind of vibe. And those are the companies that are really getting it right. PepsiCo comes to mind. Coca-Cola is another one that comes to mind, where it comes from that. But then you also have the stage products. American Idol, when it first came out, it was huge. The color blue is the same color blue as the Ford, and Ford was a major sponsor. Something to think about when it's all said and done with is the subliminal word of mouth, or the subliminal kind of stuff that comes from it. So I applaud what they're doing, is saying, look, I'm a paid spokesperson. And also on that note, IABC is also looking for sponsorships. I really would like a Samsung Galaxy phone. Totally joking, not really. Because the podcast that Austin got me hooked on, the YouTube channel, they basically say, here's who we're sponsored by and here's what they give us. And so I value that honest feedback. This is who we are. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And this is the products that we use to get it done. With IABC Houston being a past president, sponsorship was huge, and it was always trying to find those companies that were trying to work towards the same goal, and being crystal clear, we're looking for sponsorships, but you can't buy our loyalty.
Well, direct message to Samsung Electronics. If you are listening to this podcast, which you know you are, send Thomas a new Galaxy. Maybe he wants the Fold. Tim Cook, if you're listening, I'll take the new Apple iPhone 12 Pro Max. Hattie, what's on your list? What phone are you wanting?
Oh, wow. It doesn't matter to me about phone. It's just interesting. Everything that I use is functional, so I don't really care how old it is, as long as it works well. That's just me.
And this is also the look into our Christmas list, the new Marcus catalog.
Santa, if you are listening right now, please take note of our list. We'll go from there. But Hattie, any other thoughts?
I was just listening to what Thomas was saying in terms of, and you were saying about McDonald's and everybody else, and don't ask me why, but it brought to mind the General. If you remember the commercial, the General Insurance, and you could tell that they are going after certain markets. You've got Snoop Dogg who's in it, Shaq. And what's really interesting, they're looking for a certain type of audience. And I think that even though I would never get the General Insurance, I think they are just one of the smartest companies that I've seen out there recently in terms of their target marketing and who they consider people who can influence their particular consumers. They're cheap, so they go after folks who are in a certain income bracket. So they know who to put out there that's really gonna speak to them in terms of, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna try it. They know exactly what they're looking for, and I think they're just a really smart company for me. So when I think about influencers, even when they're on the different platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, television, whatever, I just look at them as really, really smart company.
Yeah, you've got to be smart about which companies that you partner yourself with. Shaq has done an amazing job with that. What he has done from a business perspective after leaving the NBA is just insane. Like he's I think he's close to probably $1 billion in net worth. Just having amazing partnerships with companies getting in on the ground floor of investments. He also understands that sometimes he is the best face for an ad. I think it's he's not afraid to go on camera or plug something for a commercial. Like he believes, but he's also a stakeholder in some of these companies that he's advertising for.
But you notice he's not that great of a communicator.
No, but he's likable.
He's likable. And that's exactly what they're looking for. He's somebody who's likable. I personally would not have a conversation with him. Don't ask me why. But you're right. And like I say, it's not just him being a good business person and not being a good communicator. It's a company that knows who likes whom and who they partner with. So,
and the influencer marketing, I think we're also talking, the spokesperson in the company, the famous people who have the followings. Peyton Manning with Papa John's in Denver comes to mind. The Jimmy John's with what's his name? Drew Brees from New Orleans is another one. But then I think companies also have to be very careful in today's world, because then you have the Jareds from Subway's mistakes.
Right.
Target audience, spot on. Side activities, really, really bad.
Yeah. Also, too, I think Subway made him a celebrity, whereas you have the Drew Breeses, whoever, they're already celebrity based on their achievements. So I guess it depends. So it looks like whatever Subway was doing at the time, they picked it based on what they were wanting people to think the food could do for them.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we discussed last week as well. Reputation matters. Think then tweet. When you are in the public eye, you have to be cognizant of that, especially if you're associated with businesses. And it's a risk for businesses to be associated with influencers as well. So that's why you're not seeing people go and support, Logan Paul, but they're maybe going to want to endorse David Dobrik. He's probably a little bit safer. But, back to Shaq real quick. I just did a quick look up of some of the businesses that he is associated with. And he owned 155 Five Guys restaurants. He sold them off. He now owns 9 stores in Atlanta for Papa John's. He told CNBC that he's gotten really good returns for being an early investor in Google. He owns a lot of stock in that company. But he says that he follows a strict philosophy that he only gets involved if he personally likes the company or product. He told HBO's Real Sports that one of his favorite examples is Ring, and some of you might be Shark Tank fans, and Ring was featured on Shark Tank. I don't believe they got a deal on Shark Tank, but they've been back in episodes, highlighting the misses. And I guess Shaq really, really liked the product. He was part of an ad campaign, and he actually, built up that relationship with that owner, that he ended up getting a stake in Ring, and ultimately Ring was bought out by Amazon for $1 billion. So, Shaq knows what he's doing. And I like that concept that you don't endorse something unless you fully believe in it.
Well, this is the other thing for me. You mentioned that his stake in Papa John's. If you remember the scandal with the Papa John's owner a few years ago.
Right.
So I don't know that I think it was Papa John's who was smart to get involved with Shaq or utilize him or whatever to get him involved, because of the things that the owner said. So, and honestly, I still don't like Papa John's pizza.
Oh, it's
but-
trash. It's trash.
Oh, that's trash pizza. But the fact that Shaq actually likes it, I don't know that's going to influence, that makes me feel any better.
But it is, credit to Papa John's for realizing they had a damaged reputation, that they knew that Shaq is a likable guy, invited him to their board of directors, gave him a deal for franchise stores. So, they're trying to rebuild the reputation, and they wanted to be associated with someone that does have a positive reputation. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like we discussed, and topic number 2 today, reputation matters. Whether it's for companies, whether it's for leaders, that's so important. And even going back to Joe Rogan, reputation matters. If you have an audience, you've got to be very diligent about what you say and do, because you can potentially influence a whole lot of people, more people than watch the evening news, which is just mind-blowing.
You've been listening to the Business Communicators.